Hey everyone, I'm Steve. Welcome back to SJ Woodworks. This week I've got a really great piece of carob wood here, and I really wanted to make a bowl out of it this week, but there's been something kind of bugging me in the shop that I think I'm going to take care of that first, and we're going to save this for another week, but look forward to a nice bowl made out of this hunk of carob wood. As you guys know, my goal with this channel is basically to make things mostly out of carbide lathe tools. And I have quite a collection of them now. In fact, here's some of the carbide lathe tools that I have, and I'm going to start doing some wood shorts videos explaining each of the different shapes of the carbide cutters that I have and what they're used for and where I got them. But as you can see, they are all, unhandled tools. And that's okay. I actually do have one interchangeable handle that the tools pretty much fit in. And they slide in right here, and I've got an Allen wrench to screw these in, and I can switch them around. And when you get the tools, you say, well, I don't want to spend the money to buy another handle for each one when it's interchangeable. I'll have no problem switching the tools around. Then it takes some time to do. You kind of get sick of switching the tools. You just want a handle for each one of your tools. So I'm going to make a handle for a carbide tool today using carbide tools. And then, we'll see how that goes. If it goes okay, I'm going to make several other handles so all of my tools have their own dedicated handle. For today's handle, I'm going to use this simple piece of ash. It's about 1.5 inches square and maybe 16 inches long. We'll make a nice traditional handle for a lathe tool. And of course, a handle like this can be used for a high-speed steel traditional gouge or other traditional tool, not just for carbide tools. But we're going to go ahead and make a tool handle today. So there are a lot of videos online right now about how to make a tool handle, and it seems like every video is a little bit different, and mine's probably going to be a little bit different from those. So if you want to make your own tool handle, take a look at the wood that you've got, the situation you have for drilling and everything, and figure out your own way. But this is the way I think is going to work for me. This is my first tool handle, but we're going to give it a shot. Let's see what happens. So first thing we're going to do is actually drill, and that's not often how people do it. I want to do it that way so that I can make sure that when I turn the spindle, the hole that I've drilled is going to stay center. That way I know it's going to be lined up in the end. So we're going to drill first. I'm going to use this little starting point here to make sure I get it centered before I put in a 1/2 inch drill bit to do my drilling. So let's get started with this drilling, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I've put in my Jacob's chuck with a 1/2 inch drill bit here. It's actually 12.5 millimeters, but I think it'll be close enough. We need to drill in 2.5 inches plus just a little bit more for the tang of the tools that I'm using. So we'll do that now, and hopefully this works out. Obviously this is a really long spindle, but we're going to give it a try. Alright, well, we got the hole in there, so let's switch to a live center and make a tool handle. Okay, I switched to the cone live center here because it'll go right into the hole that we've drilled, and it'll keep everything nice and centered. And we're going to use our square carbide cutter to round out this cylinder. And then before we shape the tool handle a little bit, we'll cut a tenon here that will be used for the ferrule to go on. I'll show you that in a minute, but let's just rough this out. Okay, we've got this rounded out here on the lathe, so now we're going to work on a tenon this ferrule is going to go on a tenon here. I've already measured the inside diameter of the tenon that I need by just measuring inside here with my calipers. So I'll turn it down that small, but we also need to get the ferrule to the right length, so I'm just going to mark off a little bit, just a little bit bigger than the ferrule, so that we won't get too short in the end, and we'll be able to just kind of part it off later. So that's going to be the length of my tenon, and I'll just take it down to the right measurement based on the inside diameter of the ferrule. I think we've got it here. Let's. Yeah, we'll be able to hammer that on. It's got a little nub here that's going to make sure it stays on tight, and we'll use some epoxy to make sure it stays snug as well. So we're done with that tenon. We're going to go ahead and shape the rest of the handle now. Okay, one important thing, you want to leave this part right here next to the end of the tool handle where the steel bar is going to stick out. You want to leave this about as thick as possible. Again, just make this part of the tool as strong as you possibly can. We're going to use a diamond point detail carbide tool to bring this down just a little bit here. Keep this as fat as we can, and then we'll go ahead and shape it, taper it down a little bit, and then out again for the end of the handle here. Okay, here's our tool handle, and it looked pretty good. I mean, there are some things I could have done better, and but it looks pretty good. I'm going to fix up the bottom here by hand, and then I'm going to show you what we'll do next. Okay, I've moved you over here to my tiny workspace. Let me tell you what I've done. So basically, we parted this off on the lathe, as you recall, and I cleaned up this end on the disc sander and hand sanded it. And then using just some sandpaper, I ran along the length of the spindle just to move things in the direction of the grain with the sanding so that it's nice and smooth. But remember, I only went to 220 grit, and I don't want it to be, you know, glassy smooth like I would if this were a bowl or a pen or something. I kind of want it to be grippy. What we're going to do next is glue this ferrule on the tenon here with some epoxy. So I have some Gorilla brand 5-minute epoxy here that I'm going to use. And then after we glue the ferrule on the end with this epoxy, then we need to glue the tool actually in here with the epoxy. And you know what, before we do the tool, I'm going to do the ferrule now, but before we do the tool, I'll show you what we're going to do here. So let's glue the ferrule on, and then we'll I'll tell you what I'm going to do to make this tool a little bit grippier. Okay, the epoxy is set on here on this ferrule, and that's looking good. And I put a coat of Danish oil on the whole tool handle here. So it looks pretty good, and that'll help protect it. Now I've taped this off because down here at this end, so I didn't put any, you know, burn lines or anything to decorate it down on this end like I did here towards the front, because I want to make this grippy. So what I'm going to use, I have this spray can of stuff called Plasti Dip. Now I got this from Home Depot. You can get it at any auto parts store, at your nearby home center. And basically what it is, it says multi-purpose rubber coating. I'll put several coats of that on here, and basically I'll have a rubbery handle that is shaped to this handle shape, and it'll be something I can hold on to that's kind of grippy, and it'll just provide me a little better grip when I'm using this tool. So I'm kind of excited to try out this Plasti Dip on the tool handle. You know, if it doesn't work on this one, then maybe I won't use it on future ones, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be great to hold on to, actually, especially here at the back when I'm, you know, working further away from the tool, or on a you know, bigger cut or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put on several coats of this Plasti Dip stuff here on the tool handle, and then I'm going to show you how it comes out. Okay, so here's what I did. Like I told you, I put a coat of Danish oil on the handle here, and then I taped it off to get a line here that's, I mean, it's not as clean as it could be. Maybe I'll work on that in a future iteration. Then I put on about 5 coats of that spray Plasti Dip here. And it's great. I mean, it dried nice and, you know, kind of grippy, like almost like I've just got a rubber sleeve on here, except it's formed exactly. You can kind of see the grain of the wood through it and everything. And I'm really going to like that when I'm turning, I think, having that extra grip on the end. Then after I'd already glued on the ferrule, I glued in my tool shaft here, a 2.5-inch hang inside the tool handle, which matches the hole that we drilled. And I just used 5-minute epoxy again, and here we go. This is my round carbide cutter here. And again, in the future I'm going to start making some shorts videos just demonstrating each of the different carbide tips that I have and what they're good for. There are quite a few of them actually. My collection's getting bigger, like all of us with our tools, right? We just keep getting more of them. But yeah, so I think everything worked out great on this tool handle. I've got a few more pieces of wood. I've got another piece of ash, some cherry, some black walnut, and some other tool handles that I need to make. So I think this is going to work great, and I'm really pleased with it. I hope this can help somebody out when they're working on their tool handles. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment here in the video, and please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I hope to keep making these videos for a long time to come. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.